Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. So this video was actually inspired by my other half, John. We were talking about what video I would do kind of coming up to Halloween, and I'm not really one for getting dressed up or anything like that. So he said, why don't you just do yourself on Halloween? As in, I would probably like make my makeup a little bit more kind of autumnal inspired. So that's exactly what I did. I used a lot of orange. So this is for the girls who are like me and just aren't really bothered. But I still like to kind of get into the spirit somewhat. And if anybody asks me, I'm dressed up as a tiger. So if you want to see how I got this makeup look, just keep watching. So I don't really know what I'm doing. I just thought I don't dress up, but if I'm going to go out, this is the makeup I would do, potentially. Although I'll probably end up just staying in and watching a scary film. I suppose primer is a good place to start. I'm going to use the Dermalogica Hydra Blur Primer. You don't need a lot of this. I really like it. I've only a sample of it though, because it's quite expensive. So I kind of take a pea-sized amount and pat it into my fingers and then pat it on my face. I feel like it does a really good job of blurring out pores, which I have a lot of large pores. Similar to Professional, I suppose, which I love as well. And then for foundation, I'm going to use a new one that I picked up the other day. This is the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. I've heard great things about this online, so I really wanted to give it a go. I have the shade 010 Light Beige, which I think is a pretty good match for me. So it's a glass bottle and it comes with a little dropper. So I think I'll just kind of drop some around my face and see what happens. It smells nice. And then I'm going to use a damp Real Technique sponge to pat it in. So do you like Halloween? I like the concept of Halloween. Like I like kind of the games, that like the old-fashioned kind of mentality of it. But what I don't like about Halloween is bangers. I don't know what other countries would call them, but the loud fireworks, so the ones that people use to scare you. And I don't like the fires or anything like that. So I tend to kind of hibernate on Halloween because I live in Dublin and it can be kind of scary. If I was gone for a drink or out and about, I would kind of play with my makeup a little bit. So that's what I'm going to try and do now. So eyebrows next for me. I'm just going to give them an old comb. And then to fill in kind of the tail end, I'm going to use the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. This is in Ash Brown. So I do have brow, but I'm trying to kind of train them into a more decent shape because they don't grow naturally into a great shape. But I still don't want them to look completely unnatural. So what I tend to do is do the kind of, what would you call it, 2/3 of it with a pencil and then go over it with a powder. Because I do like a defined brow as well. And then over that I use the Freedom. This is a little duo powder in soft brown. So I use the kind of darker one on the bit where I use the pencil and then the lighter one through the rest of my brow. And I just use an Angles brush. My brows are still not there yet, but they've definitely come a long way in the past little while. Like, I think they're the hardest thing to get right on your face. And they make such a difference. And they can get a bit unruly, so I'm just going to use some of the $1 Billion Brow Gel. Just to comb them through. And that kind of softens the powder and the pencil as well. So I can't find my usual the Balm Put a Lid in a Primer, so I'm just going to use, I love this as well, the Urban Decay Primer Potion to prime the lids. What should we do before primer? Like, nothing lasts on my eyelids. And then I'm just going to set my eyelid with the nude shade in the Urban Decay Ultimate Basics palette, which is this one here. It's just kind of a skin coloured matte shade. I don't put it all the way up because it is a little bit darker than my skin tone. I do have more appropriate shades, but I don't know where they are. And because this look is Halloween inspired, I have a bundle of kind of orangey toned shadows. I've a load of them over there to kind of whittle my way through and see if I want to use any of them. So I might start with this shade from Colourpop, which is called Elixir, which is like a, I think it's matte. Yeah, it's a matte orange colour. So I'm going to use a blank canvas E26 and put some of this on the tip of it and start applying this in the crease. Don't know where I'm going with this. I just know I'm going orange. That's about it. I might go over that a little bit with this NYX single eyeshadow in LOL, which is kind of it's a similar shade, it's just a bit more orange. It's matte orange. So on my lid, I think I'm going to mix a couple of shades and be crazy. I have Colourpop Game Face here, which is like a pretty, what would you call it, burnt orange shimmer. And then I have this NYX Golden Peach. So I might put the Colourpop on first and then maybe put the Golden Peach on top of it and see how we get on. I'm just going to apply this with my finger. These are crazy pigmented. How cool is it that we can get Colourpop here in Ireland now? And then I'm going to take a flash shader brush and the NYX colour and pack this on top and see what happens. Okay. That's not doing a whole load. I thought it would kind of bring out the orange in it, but it's not. Let's choose something else. So I have the Morphe 350 palette here. I haven't used it yet. Mine came broken, which is a bit annoying, but it wasn't Beauty Bay's fault. So they had packaged it really well. So I think it kind of happened in the manufacturing, although like the packaging is pretty cheap. So I might take, sure why not, the orange shade here on the end and the same shader brush and pack this on the lid and see what happens. Oh yeah, that's a bit more orange, a bit more pumpkin like. I'm actually going to take my finger and press that in. I think this needs something in the crease, something to ground it a little bit. So I'm taking the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette again and taking the colour Faith, which is this one here. I'm going to pop that in the crease just to kind of add a bit of depth because it's looking a bit too orange. And sure, while I have this palette to hand, I'm going to take the semi or demi matte shade, is what they call it, what's it called, Blow, and just pop a bit on my brow bone. You can always go back and touch this up at the end. I'm saying that like you're going to recreate this look. No, you're not. So staying with this Morphe 350 palette, I think I'm going to go for this shade here and put that in kind of the outer V of my eye if it's dark enough. And I'm just going to tap some of that orange over the lid again to intensify it a little bit. I do enjoy an orange shadow. I would wear it other than on Halloween. So I'm going to take the Colourpop cream gel liner in Stomper. It's just a brown liner. And I'm going to run that across my top lash line. How fun is it to just have time to sit down and play with makeup? It's one of my favourite things to do. And my other favourite thing to do is watch other people apply makeup. So I'm just going to rim my inner waterline with another Colourpop pencil. This is Get Paid, which is like a bronzy, shimmery colour, but I really like it in the waterline. And it kind of plays off that kind of orangey vibe as well. So I'll probably go back and add a little bit more of that later, but for now I'm going to do my under eyes. I'm going to use the Shiseido Sheer Eye Zone Corrector. This is a number 3, which is a bit dark for me, but it has a peachy undertone, so it counteracts the darkness. And I'm just going to use my sponge that I use for my foundation. And to brighten things up a little bit, I'm going to use the Essence Get Picture Ready Brightening Concealer, and this is in 10 Ivory. For face concealer, I'm using my old trusty favourite MAC Full Coverage Foundation. And I just splodge that anywhere and everywhere. And then just use my sponge to blend it in. So for my under eyes, like my under eyeshadow eyes, you know what I mean. I think I'm going to use this bad boy in the corner, which is like a reddy bronze colour on a pencil brush. Let's see how this goes. I can get down with that. And then I'm going to take the NYX shadow, the orange one that we used earlier in LOL, and a bigger brush, and just put it on the tip of it and just kind of blend this out a little bit with it. Ah, I found my eyeshadow primer that was under the palette. Duh. Anyway, time for mascara. I was going to do lashes, but I think I might just leave it with natural eyelashes. See how this goes. This is a Penny's eyelash curlers. I spent €1.50 on it. My Shu Uemura eyelash curler had seen better days, and I picked up one in TK Maxx. Wasn't a major fan of it, and then I picked this rose gold one up in Penny's the other day, and by no means is it the best eyelash curler I've ever used, but it's not bad. It's worth $1.50. So I'm going to use the Maybelline Falsies Push Up Drama in waterproof. I like this because it kind of, this might sound bad to some people, but it kind of clumps up the lashes and makes them look a bit fuller. And I'm going to wax some of this on my bottom lashes as well. Apologies for the abundance of products used here, but I just grabbed the Dolce Vita palette by Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm going to take the glittery shade just on my finger and pat a little bit over my lid, just for a little something something. Sure, why not? Like, it's Halloween. Okie dokes, what's next? Bronzer. I'm going to use the Glam Bronze Cushion de Soleil by L'Oreal. I love this stuff. This is a cream bronzer. Well, a cream cushion bronzer. So I'm just going to use, if I can see it, I think I'll just use my sponge for this. And just kind of whack a little bit on my mush. Bring it down the neck as well. I don't use a whole lot of bronzer. I'm pale. I'm trying to embrace it somewhat. But I like a little bit of colour in my face. And I'm going to set under my eyes. I'm going to use the well-loved yellow powder from the Makeup Revolution Ultra Contour Kit. and then the kind of skin coloured shade beside it. I can't lift it too high because it fell and I crumpled. But most contour kits have shades like that in them. Because I'm quite pale, I can't just leave the yellow shade on its own, because then I just have yellow under eyes. I do have to go over it with like a skin colour powder. And sure, while I have this in my hands, I'm just going to do a little light contouring with the middle shade. Nothing too crazy, but just to kind of give me something, because I don't have anything. Then I'll keep on the orange theme for the cheeks. I'll use the Essence Satin Touch blush in Satin Coral. I always apply a little too much blusher when I'm applying it, because then when I go over it with my face powder, it kind of disappears a little bit. So I look like a clown for a minute, but it'll die down, I promise. Then to set my face, I'm going to use the Kryolan translucent powder and my trusty e.l.f. sponge again. This gets everywhere, but it's really finely milled and I love it. So I use the sponge, which is still a bit damp, to kind of press it into the skin. I feel like this is the best way to get my skin mattified, because I need mattification. Is that a word? I don't know. But it doesn't leave it looking majorly powdery. The moisture in the sponge takes away that powdery look. Then to highlight, I'm going to use the Sleek Salts, this palette. I'm going to use the peachy colour here. I thought this would go well with the orangey tones on the eyes. And I'm going to pop some of that into my inner tear duct as well. Then I'm going to set everything with my trusty L'Oreal Infallible Fixing Mist, which I literally get everywhere. It's all over the mirrors in this room. It's ridiculous. If my laptop was open now, I'd be covered in this. For lips, I thought I would go kind of orangey as well. So this is the Bourjois Rouge Edition Velvet in Peach Club. This is a matte lippy. If you can't do bold eyes and bold lips on Halloween, when can you do it? Everybody else will be dressed as like clowns and slutty nurses. And I'm just going to add a bit more of that Colourpop pencil into my waterline. This actually stays really well. I actually use this a lot. And there you have my Halloween inspired normal makeup look for the girl who can dress up but doesn't want to. So there you have my Halloween makeup look. Well, Halloween inspired makeup look. I thought in a mist of like costume makeup, I thought if you're like me and you're not really one for dressing up, this might float your boat, and you might wear this if you're heading out or you're going to the cinema or something like that on Halloween night. But whatever you get up to, I hope you have a great time, stay safe, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye bye.